What in mineral? Can you feel? Hey guys, adjust my cam here, and we are live right here on the channel. We even got the tunes rocking. Yes, I pay for those, so no, I won't get blocked from YouTube for them. Let's fade out that music, nice and slow. That is On the Way by Lawless Rock. Let's do live. To be honest, that's usually not the type of music I listen to, but when I'm doing videos, I always theme the music for the feel, right? So, you know what? Sometimes a beat, you need a little energy to get started, and you need to crank it up. A little bit of a drum going on there. My brother Neil would like that. He'd appreciate that for me, okay? Thank you all. Fade out that music, and we are gonna chat. Everybody hop in there. I see that you're in there. Like, share, subscribe. Today I'm gonna talk about the new show, and I hope you guys, because you guys keep wanting more content, and I'm gonna talk about a few things. I don't know what else we'll get to, but I got my sparkling water here, and that's Rebel, isn't it? Sparkling water. Real rebels drink sparkling water. A very large mosquito just flew by. He's been hanging out in the office here all day. You know those mosquitoes that are like they have really long legs. They don't really eat you like the little mosquitoes. They're like enormous, right? They're basically like Skeetozilla or something. You know that mosquito? I don't know what they call those. I don't even know if they're a mosquito, but they look like a mosquito and they're enormous. All right, guys, everybody, welcome to the show. Life is pretty good down here in Mako. Check out the post I just made on the Facebook page about an entire county that basically threw out the government, and get an idea of what real 3% looked like. I posted a video over there that was a little history thing on this town called Cheron down here in Mako, and they were sick of the corruption. And the tough guys weren't fixing it, so finally the women stood up in the town and basically blocked the road, and all the complicit cartel buddies that were taking advantage of them, the police, the government officials that were all in on it, they said, "You're done, you're leaving," and they actually threw them out of town. My brother Nathan has gone and visited with the leaders of this town. While he was there, he saw a state police vehicle in this town, right? And somebody that was with him that spoke better Spanish said, well, what's the state police doing here? And they said, oh, that's not the state police. When we threw the state police out of our county, that car was left behind and we just haven't repainted it yet, okay? That's what it looks like to be 3%, all right? No, I did not see the caravan of people that were coming up from the Guatemalan border, but my thoughts are with them. I hope that, honestly, I hope they realize how insane the U.S. and its fake laws and fake immigration laws and abuse of mankind is, and that they stay maybe here or something. I don't know. I mean, it's up to them. They have a right to travel there, but the USA is going down. It's not a place to take your family. So I thought we would talk a little bit. You guys, I've seen some of the recent videos, right, that I've been doing. Let's talk about that a little bit. And let's talk about my concept here, which is the Exile show, all right? And I put a link in here. People ask a lot of times, like, how can we help? You know, what can we do, right? Make a Patreon. Okay, fine. I made a Patreon so that you guys can support it. Here's the thing. Shows like this are work, right? But they don't, like, take it completely out of me. They don't take all day because I can just do them live and just go for it, okay? Then there's the other videos. If you guys saw the one I did of my first week in Mako, the one I did in Utah of the forest and refusing to pay in the forest, that was before I became an exile. The one of our first week here, the anniversary video I did, showing just kind of the past 11 years with my family and my sexy wife and all that kind of stuff. So if you guys saw some of those videos, you know that there's a lot more production value that goes into those videos. And so today I'm gonna put the burden on you guys a little bit, because you're always saying, like, we want more, how can we help? How can we do more shows? Well, you can. I've started a Patreon for those of you that want to support the Exile show. And these are the videos, we're still going to do live videos. And if you guys want to support those, you can just, drop a few bucks in the super chat to keep these live videos and Q&A sessions going. But the Patreon in particular, I'm setting up, guys, and it's patreon.com/Gavin Seim. I linked it in the comments of this video here. I don't know if you can see it or not, but patreon.com/Gavin Seim. Maybe somebody can post it in the chat here because I don't have the chat open on the computer, all right? What Patreon is basically you can just pitch in a little bit to help us make new content. Here's the thing, when we do one of the full videos, right, the full vlog style videos, whether it's activism or showing our adventures down here in Mexico and showing you the real Mexico, okay, I can see the chat. I just am not in the chat on the computer, so I can't type in the chat. So I can see your guys' comments in there, all right? Thank you all. So these videos that you guys see on this channel that are not just the quickies, these take time, all right? And let's deal with the trolls. We love dealing with the trolls. I would say the full-on vlogs take me probably 5 to 10 hours of work to put together, all right? Now, if I'm spending 5 to 10 hours producing content for you guys to watch on YouTube for the shows, it's 5 to 10 hours. I'm not doing my other business stuff. And I want to keep doing these. I want to expand the channel. I want to do more adventure travel, show people what real Mexico is. I want to really start expanding. You may have noticed that we've started picking up the production value and stuff on some of these videos. Now, it's going to kind of be up to you guys whether you want more videos and more content on this channel a little bit, because this is my production, my media, it's a job, right? I didn't get into activism for money and I don't make much money on it. But if I'm producing content, whether it's here or somewhere else, right, on other channels for my business at seimfx.com, there's Ace. Ace is a mod. He can take care of some of these guys. When you're producing content, that is a job. And it's really, I have to laugh because every time, like those of us, it's really weird. Nobody blinks if they go to a comedy channel, right? Like Rhett and Link, and they're getting ad revenue, or people are supporting them on a Patreon, or they're selling merchandise, right? Nobody blinks if you go to the movie theater and want to watch a movie. But somehow, because I do a show that's talking about serious things, and I say, hey guys, support the show, suddenly it's like, oh, Gavin's just some kind of a grifter. Now look, if people don't want the show, I've got other things I can spend the time on. And I don't mean this like as a bully pulpit so much as like the channel is growing and I see potential to expand our message, to do more videos, to do more production value, more content on how you can make your content out there and how we can all increase our voice. And making content, doing a quick live stream with crappy lighting is one thing, but raising that production value is a whole different story. And we spend a lot of time. If you go when this video is over and watch the anniversary video that I did, and it's not just so much, it's actually a narrative. I'm talking about what has happened in the USA and what we've been through. And it's in the context of my family and my wife, who is much, much hotter than me, all right? But that video I probably spent 6, 7 hours on, okay? That's a day's work. And the problem that content creators have is that we want good content, right? I watch content on YouTube all the time. I get tons of stuff. If I need information, I go to YouTube. But at the same time, if you're an activist, there's this attitude of, well, if you want to actually get paid for your labor and have supporters that like support your show, right, and subscribe to it, that's a different thing. Now, don't get me wrong. We're going to keep doing videos here regardless. But you guys keep asking me, like, how can we do more? How can we help out? Let's do more of these videos. Let's do more regular shows. To do that, I have to be able to raise production, okay? And we have to keep ramping up. And I'm doing this on other channels too. I'm trying to build these other channels, make more content, do regular vlogs. And so if you guys are interested in supporting that, just go over to the Patreon. It's patreon.com/Gavin Seim and just pitch in a little bit if you're into that. And you can get, it's as low as $1 a month. I mean, we're not talking about a big money here. The goal is this channel is up to almost 200,000 subscribers because there are people out there that care about overcoming the propaganda and the U.S. slavery and the police state. And I want to grow that with you guys. So if you want to help out, now there's perks. It's not like you get nothing. You can support the Patreon. A lot of times people want Q&A sessions, but I can't answer all your questions. So if you're a supporter on the Patreon, you can take part in, there's different levels you can support at. But for $1 or $2 a month, you can take part, and we'll start doing private live streams. And the private live streams, there'll be way less of us because it'll only be for you supporters that are actively supporting the channel. And in those private live streams, we can do more intimate Q&A sessions, talk about how you guys can build your voice. And I want to expand this. I'd really like to see, and this has been a message of this channel for a long time, is I want all of you to have a voice because we desperately need more voices. There's so few bold voices. And the people that want to be bold voices, I think they struggle, like, what do we do? How do we get our content to be significant? And this is something, as a media producer, that I think that we can work together on. But that's not all this is going to be about. The context of this is the Exile show. And it's going to be talking about freedom. It's going to be activism. It's going to be all these things about that those of us who stand up are exiles, literally or figuratively, when we demand freedom for our fellow man. All right? Anyways, that's good. I just wanted to let you guys know. Now you can't tell me, what are you waiting for? Start a Patreon, do all this stuff. If I see support over there, we're going to start cranking it into high gear, and we're going to start doing more content. If I don't, I got to do what I can to take care of my family, right? Media production is media production. Media production is money. It's a living. I mean, this is how I work all day, every day, in front of this computer right here, making stuff. I mean, I was moving data around today. Here's my 12 terabyte RAID 1 right here, and I was reorganizing my media core files so that I can try and put videos together more. I do not just these videos. I mean, I'm making videos all the time for photographers and learning media and stuff like that. My other channel, youtube.com/Seim, S-E-I-M Studios. Go sub that one if you guys are interested in photography and media and tech reviews and stuff like that, because that is another one we're building. Thank you, Ace. And we're building that channel as well. It's a lot smaller because it's a more recent advent to grow that channel. But it's good. It's good. So, all right, let's talk. Before we wrap up, I'm gonna go eat dinner soon. You know what? People always ask, people always say things like, why don't you do this? Why do you block trolls? Why was I blocked? This is how it works, guys. If you are in here and you're contributing to the support of the police state, if you're in here and you're attacking me or my family for trying to make a living, if you're in here mocking and trolling, you are going to be blocked from the channel. And if you've been blocked and you feel that it was erroneous and that you were just maybe misconstrued, understand that when mods are in here and we have a busy stream and there's a lot of feeds of comments going by, it can happen in error at times, okay? But yeah, this is house rules. I defend your freedom of speech constantly. And people don't seem to understand that you don't have freedom of speech in my house once it crosses the line, okay? So your channel, your Facebook page, it's how it is. It's how it is. And so these trolls, they come in here and they act like they're just good, supportive people, and we just blocked them because we didn't like that they were questioning or asking a reasonable question. And that's BS. The trolls are coming in here and they are intentionally trying to undermine the message, and they sometimes do it cleverly to try and disrupt and get you guys who are in here caring about the content off track. There are thousands of comments every week on this channel, and a lot of them, they range anywhere from death threats to people just calling my family or me names. And you know what? You guys are welcome to go start a YouTube channel that mocks Gavin Seim. They exist. There's YouTube channels dedicated to mocking me, all right? That's your right. You can go do that. But you're not going to do it here. All right? If, however, you were misunderstood and we blocked you in air, then feel free to send me an email and be like, hey, bro, you know what? I don't know why I'm blocked, but I'm blocked. And chances are, unless I know that you're an active troll, and as long as you're not a fake account, that helps too, right? If I see people leaving nasty comments and you're just a arbitrary, fake YouTube account that's not doesn't even have the courage to use your real name. I'm not saying you have to use your real name, but if you're one of these YouTube accounts with no videos, no subscribers, no nothing, that it's obvious you just made this YouTube account to troll, then no, you're probably not going to be unblocked. If you're a real person and there was just a misunderstanding, like I'm not out to get people. People do this on my page too. And what it is, the people doing this are trolls, guys. The person that's saying like, oh, you block freedom of speech by not allowing me to troll your page. That's a troll by definition. You don't have the right to harass people in their living room. And speaking of living rooms and walls, I hear this all the time, like, oh, we have a right to put a wall around the USA. And I'm like, great, enjoy the New Berlin Wall as you all become prisoners. But I was thinking today, a wall around your home is privacy. A wall around your country is a prison. That's the difference. Your nation, the land for beneficial use, is not something to be walled off. That's a prison, not freedom. That's not safety. It's not security. It doesn't protect you. If you build a wall, and this is coming in the USA, and it's why I'm glad I got out when I did. The wall coming in the USA is the New Berlin Wall. It has nothing to do with stopping the drug trade. The #1 drug traffickers are your government officials. Who do you freaking think we're kidding when we're like, oh, we got to stop the poor Mexican from immigrating because he might be bringing drugs? I talk to people down here and they laugh and they're like, if they build a wall in your country and stop the drug trade, like your people won't know what to do. Because the U.S. is the like #1 consumer in the American continent of all these drugs. They're going there because the idiots in our country are such numbnuts that instead of standing up for something that matters, they're consuming all the drugs. And guess who's trafficking? The government that you keep electing. Now look, I don't think substances should be restricted, right? I also think we should be sober-minded and not be high all the time. I don't get high at all, and I don't get drunk. Doesn't mean I don't have a beer, but I like my wits about me. That's just like, to me, that's a righteous common sense. It's a godly principle to me, but it's also common sense. Okay? So, all right, enough on trolls and walls and all that kind of stuff for now. I think I've made my point on tonight's show. Before I wrap up tonight's show, because we're almost at 20 minutes, and when we do these live shows, I really don't want them. These live shows are really for you core subscribers that really care, right? But we don't want them to go too long. You know, before we wrap up, let's talk about the 3% a little bit. I hear people throwing this 3% word around. And go to facebook.com/callmegav. Look at the video I just posted. That is what real 3% looks like. All right? Thanks, guys. Real 3% are people who actually resist, who defy tyranny, right? The 3% is a historical concept based on the people that helped throw off the redcoats. And that's exactly what I was getting at, Ace. In the USA, when people say 3%, it's these like, let me see if I can mimic. Let me see if I can do like the Patriot 3% thing. I don't have like a bulletproof vest and all the tactical gear, so it's going to be hard. Okay, but it's time for the role playing for the night. You guys ready for role playing on tonight's show? All right. I'm going to go out of camera. We're going to kind of walk in here, and I'll leave mods to take care of the trolls. So I'm going to walk out, and we're going to do the little, okay, here comes the 3%. America! Trump! Can you believe those immigrants? What are we going to do about them? They're taking all our welfare. How dare those immigrants come to this country and violate our Constitution by not having papers? How dare they? Those traitors, They're a bunch of leftists. They're probably Muslims too. Now this is the kind of, now people think are going to be like, oh, I'm being rude. Guys, this is the kind of nonsense that the 3% are peddling, okay? And I can do this all day long. I can do like, I can do the patriot stuff, all right? And I think some of these people are just deceived and well-meaning, but come on. A 3% does not shake the hands of police and say vote harder. The 3% throws them off the pier, all right? And one of my number one opposition is the so-called 3% and patriot movement. It's not the left, guys. And I don't take this whole left-right, right? I try to be balanced. The number one opposition I have is this so-called 3%. And guys, these 3%, these militias, the problem is they're infiltrated with feds that are working to send people to prison. And I'm going to be I just posted an article about this actually on my Steemit, steemit.com/Gavin Seim, exposing one of these people whose job it is. He's an ex-cop. They come in and they're ex-cops and they're ex-military and they're ex-psyops and they're all strutting their stuff. Like, oh yeah. And they all got their badass beards, right? They're like, you know the problem with the 3%? They're so busy preening their tactical beards that they forgot what it means to actually be a militia in a 3% and actually defend freedom. The 3% and the so-called patriots are the number one people I see that are vocally and blatantly opposing the Constitution. Right, with all this border stuff, immigrants should be abused. Immigration restriction is blatantly forbidden in the Constitution. They're constantly peddling this idea of freedom is us being better than the rest of the world. Freedom is our arrogance, it's our pride, and it's us telling everybody else how much they suck compared to us while we have our cool beards and big guns and tacked out bulletproof vests. And I'm like, 3% of what? What do you give? 3% of what? You're giving 3% of your beer money while you preen your tactical beards? It's a fraud. The real 3% is those of us that are actually resisting. And people say to me, well, Gavin's not even a patriot anymore. He's an expatriate. He left the country. It's a good sign that you're a patriot if you have to leave the country to stay out of prison, guys. Now, I'm not saying I wish that on you, all right? But if you're standing up eventually at the rate we're going, because not enough people are standing up in the USA. We can speak out, we can try and save as many as we can, and we can wake up. But the fact is, most people that want to stay free, at least for now, for the foreseeable future, if they stand up, they're probably going to have to leave or end up in prison or dead, okay? Because that's what they're doing. Blue ISIS will beat you and murder you on the side of the road. See, things like this are not tolerated. Police murdering and beating people on the side of the road is not tolerated in Mako or frankly most countries, okay? In the USA, we are a fascist police state. And so don't let these guys make you walk into the gas chamber. Now, patriots, 3%. People say, oh, Gavin, you're just being rude. You're just riling people up and dividing. You know what? It's time to start dividing from the frauds, the patriots, the so-called 3%. If you back the blue, if you back the abusive immigrant, if you back the for-profit prisons, you are not a 3%er. And you don't even know what it means to be a patriot. You don't know what it means to love your neighbor. Okay? So, just a few things that we wanted to cover on this show. Let's go to the snack segment. And I was downtown in this store and I found, oh my gosh, I mean, the food you find in Mako, you guys. You know I have a rule about eating on camera, but I got this thing. This is like this pastry. And it's like cream inside. But you gotta taste this. Here, try it. This thing is so light and fluffy. There's like a zillion little layers in this thing. And it's got powdered sugar. I don't know, I think it probably cost me like 25 cents. And so you go get a couple of these and a couple of tacos, and you're good. All right. So I don't know. This kind of stuff, this would be $3 in the US. Somebody tell me what this is called if you know. I know we have people on here from Mako. But this one's different because there's so many layers and it's so flaky. Hang on, bear with me a minute because I need more of this, all right? And you can see it's hollow inside. Quesito? No. Maybe a quesito. Queso is cheese. So, no sé. Para es muy bien. Es la azúcar, la crema, y es dulce. Es muy, muy bien para la gringo. La gringo, entonces, see? So, all right, you guys, what have we not covered tonight? We're coming up on 30 minutes, and that's our hard line on tonight's show. We've talked about the 3%, and look, my goal is not to just make fun of people, okay? I know we get a laugh sometimes when we bring out these stereotypes, but the fact is, the 3%. Guys, I have a lot of friends, and I mean, a lot of my events when we started out were with these patriot groups and 3%, and over the years, they've just watered down more and more and more. They barely even show up anymore. The women with their children hanging from their aprons are showing up more than the 3% in the USA. And I've seen this firsthand, like at Nevada Southern, when we were camping outside and protesting the prison. All right? I've seen this firsthand where the single moms, or the non-single moms, but the husbands were at work, they would be out camping in the desert, in the dirt, with 3 little kids to protest for the prisoners, and the so-called 3% were nowhere to be seen. So I'm done allowing people who don't actually defend freedom, justice, the Constitution, liberty for all, any of that kind of thing. I'm done allowing them to pretend that they're 3%. I'm done allowing these ex-cop, back the blue, patriot, America, give me my blue line flag. Let me tell you what, when we were kids, I mean, we went out there and we had this huge grill. And we'd go down there with our blue line flags, and we'd have this grill. Billy Bob would show up, and he'd have this, his big slow and low cooker, right? And we'd go down there about 4 in the morning, and back there in No-Go, Texas, and he'd show up, and he'd have this pickup truck. That grill was like 600 pounds, all right? And so we'd load that grill up, and we'd head on down. Now, down yonder, in Newtown, there was this brothel down there, but it had a huge parking lot and it was right by the creek. Now, we were just teenagers. We couldn't go in there. Our parents would kill us. But we'd go down there and we'd fire up the grill about 6 in the morning, kind of get that slow and low burn going on, get some brisket on there, and we'd set up our American flags and our Don't Tread on Me flags and our blue line flags, and we'd set all those up. And, about 4 in the clock, when the girls started taking their siesta down there, they'd come out and we'd share our meat with them, and it was real fine stuff. We had a good time. We'd swim in the creek and all this stuff. So it was real freedom, and one of the things we always did is we flew our blue line flags because we really had to make sure that we backed those who protect and defend our freedom at all times, all days of the week, 24 hours a day, 7 days a week. You hear me? That right there, that's patriotism. Okay, I could do that all day long, but you guys all know what I'm talking about. You see this, and I like a Texas accent as much as the next guy. All right, but if you're flying the blue ISIS flag, you're not a 3%er. If you're a 3%er, you are staunchly opposing the #1 terrorist organization in the U.S. If you're backing the blue, you are the enemy of the Constitution. Because everything the police do all day, every day, is trample the Constitution. And people say, well, they do good things and they protect us. The police do not protect your freedom. They have destroyed your freedom for their masters and their paycheck, all right? And so who's backing the Constitution? Who defends the Constitution? People like me who go to jail or have to leave the country. People like Ammon Bundy, Schaefer Cox, Jeff Winehouse. Who are we calling the heroes again? Because most of the people that actually defend the Constitution are either on federal paper or sitting in prison or they had to leave the country. So don't you dare look at me, because you can't find one police officer who defends the Constitution. And I know that firsthand because I've been asking for years, and there's still a $500 reward for anybody who can find a police officer. A cop becomes good when he stands up and opposes the blue and ends his job. Okay, and this is something we're seeing more and more. The police who realize that their extortion and their robbery is no good, they quit. And then you'll see the videos and people say, oh, look at this good cop. He wasn't okay with how many tickets he's getting. And the cop, it's an interview, and the cop's kind of trying to wake up a little bit. And he's like, well, I just love being in law enforcement, but I just wasn't comfortable with how much that we were writing revenue-generating tickets. And so I wanted to do less of that. And everybody says, oh, what a good cop. That's like saying that a burglar who robs your grandmother's house, if he gets on the news and he says, I just don't really like robbing old ladies' houses. From now on, I'm only going to rob young ladies' houses. And everybody's like, oh, that's a good burglar right there, man. That's a real good burglar. Somebody get that boy a brisket. Let's get him some food. Let's get him a blue line flag. All right? It's time to get serious. It's time to get real. It's time to stop pretending that your friends and family and your police officer friends and who work for the court system and the justice system, that they're good or that they have good jobs or they're heroes. They're terrorists. That's what they are. And if you're not calling them out, and this is one of the things, a lot of you guys that are on this channel follow James Freeman's channel, and I love how James, he reminds me of myself, because he just walks up to the cops and he's like, so did you always plan to be a criminal? Or did that come later in life for you? And he has no qualms, and neither should you. If you have a cousin, a brother, an uncle, and they're a cop, you should be calling them out. You should be calling them out and saying, why are you a criminal for a living? Why do you rob, extort, kill? Why do you support murderers? Why are you a member of the largest terrorist organization in the USA? And I'm telling you guys, people say, oh, you're just going to make people angry. You're just hateful. No, this isn't about hate. This is about love. There's a huge thing people don't understand about me. And I'm going to tell you, and those that aren't ready to hear it are not going to believe it, and it doesn't matter. I'm just going to tell you anyhow. When you love people, you tell them the truth. When somebody's an addict for crack or sex or I don't know, being a police officer, abusing people, robbing people, when someone has a problem that you care about, you tell them the truth. You don't pat them on the back and be like, oh yeah, you're a real hero, man. You're a hero. Thanks for the crimes you commit. That's ridiculous. That's mentally ill, okay? And if you think that way, you have a mental problem. When I speak out against the police and try and get people to publicly shame them and speak against them, I'm trying to save their life, you guys. I'm not just trying to get them to awaken so their soul can be saved. I'm trying to save their life. I don't want police being strung up by the lynch mob, because that's what's coming. I don't want that. That's why I'm always saying, be peaceful. Don't treat them. Don't become them. Don't do to them like they did to us. And when I speak against Blue ISIS and try and get you guys to do the same, I'm saying we need to love people enough to call the police in the USA the criminal, thug, pervert, psychopath, terrorists that they are. And no, none of them are good cops. If you had good cops, they would be stopping the bad cops. And so whether the cop is the psychopath murderer on the side of the road or the one who stands off outside of camera and does nothing, they're both bad cops. Liberty is extreme only to slaves. And because none of you can find a single police officer that defends the Constitution and his oath, I'm not making an opinion of some random arbitrary ideal when I say we don't have any good cops. I'm saying I have searched and crisscrossed the country back and forth and put the word out and offered rewards for people to show me one. I watch the news. I see what's happening. The day a cop becomes good is the day he loses his job. You cannot be a police officer in the USA and honor your oath. It's that simple. You're welcome to prove me wrong. There's $500 in it for you, but I know none of you can because we've been here over and over and over. And so when I speak out against blue ISIS, when I encourage you guys to do the same, I'm loving them far more than the sycophant blue line flagging fascists. I'm saying you guys are the enemy of freedom. And eventually, when everything comes unglued, people are going to come to you to retaliate. And you need to change before that happens. Because I don't want that. I don't want blood in the streets. I don't want lynch mobs. See, I'm the first guy. If I see a lynch mob and they're trying to abuse a cop, I'll be on the front of the line to stop that lynch mob, just like when the lynch mob of cops are trying to abuse the civilian. And so you have all these pretenders that say, you know, I know cops, or I'm a cop. And it's important. Like, if you're a cop, I'm sorry for you. You're a terrorist. You are a criminal terrorist. You're the enemy of freedom. You're the enemy of the Constitution. Because what you do for a living is rob and abuse and steal, support a kangaroo court system. Every time you arrest, every time you make an arrest and drag somebody in for your fake crimes and fake charges, even when you stop someone who's actually doing bad, even when you help someone, which is good, it's good to help people. Sure, cops help people every now and then. Cops are human beings too. I understand that. And cops do good things sometimes to stop actual bad guys. The problem is, it's like saying, well, yeah, I mean, I'm a member of the cartel, but I helped an old lady across the street. And so, you know, the people that I'm robbing and murdering and stuff, that doesn't count because I helped an old lady across the street. That's not how it works. Burglars help old ladies across the street too. So do rapists and terrorists and you know, people who commit crimes against humanity. And so I've done lots of videos, and I've actually featured the videos on the channel of the cops who were respectful, who didn't act like psychopaths. There's getting to be less and less of those. So absolutely, I love the police. I love them enough to tell them that they are the #1 enemy of freedom in the USA, that they are the #1 terrorists of the USA. And this isn't my opinion. The blue line kills more people in the USA than all wars, all of our troops we lose in war, okay? All terrorist attacks and all mass shootings combined. The police are quite factually the #1 most violent terrorist organization in the USA. And if you participate in that, you're quite literally, I mean, it's like saying, well, yeah, I'm a Nazi, I'm in the Gestapo, but I'm actually a good guy. I don't actually support like the people getting gassed and stuff. I'm not doing anything about it because that's not my job. But you know, I'm a good guy. So it's time to start universally opposing the police until we return to a place where our police are actually servants and they're simply security guards that we hire to defend our freedoms, not to enforce fake laws that violate our rights. Now, this won't happen by voting harder. The whole police system, the USA, the entire government is going down, okay? It will not be restored from within. You won't fix it by saying, I'm gonna become a cop and be a good cop. If you try to become a cop, and you try to be a good cop, you will be fired or worse. It's that simple. That's why there's no good cops. I've met cops that I think might have been good cops at some point, and that's why they're no longer cops, okay? So let's stop even calling them like, I hesitate to even call them police. They're just terrorists. These police are not policing, they're not defending, they're not protecting, they're not serving, they're terrorists, all right? And it's time to call them out. It's time to say when these guys come in their terrorist costumes into your stores and the grocery store, like, what are you doing? You're making my family feel unsafe. You're making us uncomfortable. I don't want to see terrorists in this store, okay? What you need to check that with is your honor. You need to love them enough to tell the truth and not want to be like them, not want to seek vengeance. Vengeance never brings freedom, guys. It doesn't bring freedom. I see people with hearts of vengeance all the time, and they're always slaves to their hate. You have to love people enough to have compassion and tell the truth and resist all these things. So it's really important that people start speaking out about this, and that's kind of the wrap of this show. I am 10 minutes over time. You guys, this is our live show for tonight. All right? This is our live show for tonight. Keep speaking out. Keep calling out the Blue ISIS terrorists. Use that hashtag Blue ISIS. Keep calling out the people who are pretending they're patriots or love the Constitution that support them. All right? Call them out. It's okay. They're not patriots. They're not loving their neighbor. They're not following Jesus Christ if you support people who abuse and rob and steal for a living. That's just the facts. And I'm presenting you the facts over and over again, and the slaves are going to try to confirm their confirmation bias and say, no, that's not the case. We love our cops. They're good guys. They have nothing to back that with. They can't actually find a cop that stops the bad cops and does good. Can we get rid of some of these trolls in here, the police worshiping that just like repeat the same thing over and over again and think that it's somehow going to change, that the police are like terrorizing our entire country? I don't understand like how we've gotten to this point where people are not ashamed to support these psychopaths. I mean, and it's amazing. I see the contrast in the police down here. Yes, there's corruption. Yes, there are bad things. Yes, there's corrupt cops and bribes. Yes, I even see checkpoints, guys. What people don't understand, and I posted on the page about this tonight, is that I'm not okay with that, and they need to resist that here too, because more and more you see the USA sponsoring and bribing the government here to try and be like us, because it confirms that it's normal, right? If other people are doing it. Do like us at the border. They're still not even close to us. But down here, you know, if you do find a checkpoint and you stop and argue with a guy and tell him that's not right, it's a whole different animal. They're not going to drag you out of the car and beat the crap out of you or shoot you in the head, break your windows, or steal your kids. So it doesn't mean that you stop and say, no, I'm okay with the checkpoint because it's not as bad. It means you still resist, but it means you actually still can speak up and say, hey, this isn't good, and encourage others to do so, because you're not considered insane because you say no, all right? You're not ostracized by the police worshiping loyalists. So just speak up. Just speak up. If anybody, like, if you guys want to email me, the problem is, like, I don't know a lot of you personally on here. And so it needs to be regulars on this channel that are moderators. But if you're a regular and we've chatted before or something like that and you're on the live streams a lot, shoot me an email, gavinforliberty@gmail.com. And maybe we can get a couple more moderators on here. People can have their voice. They can disagree. And I let people disagree on this channel all the time. I don't always respond to your disagreements because I've made the points over and over again. I don't just keep repeating myself if I don't have to, right? But the people that are just in here, what the trolls and loyalists, oftentimes they work for the system. Their job is to create noise that makes it look like people are supporting the system and those who are opposing the system of child trafficking, of for-profit prisons, of extortion. Their job is to make people like me look like the radicals, when in fact, the ones who are supporting the police and saying that it's freedom and patriotism and blah, 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 they're the radicals. They're the ones that are insane. It's time to stop pretending. It's time to stop pretending that people who support terrorism and the abuse of their fellow man are mentally stable. That their standards. They don't have a right to vote away our rights. Okay, guys, I'm gonna go. I want dinner. I'm gonna finish this delectable pastry right here off camera, so I don't have like, you know, all over my face. All right, and we're gonna keep this going. If you guys want to see more videos, more production, more content on this channel, head over to my Patreon, patreon.com/Gavin Seim, and pitch in $1 or $2 a month and get some perks, like having, you know, more private live streams where we can actually do more intimate Q&A sessions and stuff like that, and all that good stuff. So, guys, peace, love your neighbor, speak out, resist Blue ISIS. We'll talk soon.